It truly is the season of giving. We are sorting out your social life and so much more today. I have got 4 tickets for the Wizard of Oz Panto aboard the QE2 up for grabs. It actually starts this weekend, December the 14th, running through until the 26th, apart from Christmas Day. We'll give the cast a bit of a rest then. It is, of course, a colourful musical adventure to Oz. Dorothy, Toto meeting the Scarecrow, the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion. Tickets start from just 99 dirhams on platinumlist.net and Dubai Calendar. But right now, if you want to win 4 tickets with me to head along with the family, you need to tell me which character sings this song in the Wizard of Oz movie.
I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. And my head I'd be scratching while my thoughts were busy hatching if I only had a brain.
Who is determined to find a brain? That character name and your name, please pop that over on 4001. There's the ARN Play app if you prefer. I always think the WhatsApp's probably the easiest, to be honest. So pop it on your phone, save it, and drop us a message on 04871 5500. Now, I do need your name on all competitions, but we are talking about career guidance, top trends, and some tummy issues next. So if you've got any questions for any of our experts, you can leave your name off. We completely understand.
This is Afternoons with Helen Farmer on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With Mubadala Health Dubai, a specialty clinic and day surgery centre for every stage of your family's life. Trusted for care. Call 800 77.
Talking health now, and the microbiome has become a hot topic in health and wellness discussions, and for good reason. It's a complex community of trillions of bacteria, fungi and other microorganisms living in our gut and other places that plays a vital role in digestion, immunity and even our mental health. And as we head into the holiday season, a time known for indulgence, it is essential to understand how our eating habits can really impact this delicate balance. So joining us today is Dr. Pranab, a consultant gastroenterologist, to break down what the microbiome is, how it affects our overall health, and give us some tips and tricks to have it not just surviving, but thriving during the holiday season. How are you, Doctor?
Thank you very much for having me.
I'm really interested in this because I feel like that word microbiome has been thrown around in many a recent conversation. And I still don't really understand it. So pretend I'm 10 years old. Doctor, can you explain what the microbiome is and why it is so critical?
Absolutely. It is, as you said, it consists of all the bacteria, the viruses and the fungi that live within your large intestine. That's a part of your digestive system, and it's just confined there. And think about it, about 40 trillion organisms living inside you, weighing literally 1 kilogram to 1.5 kilograms inside, growing. And these are bugs that you wouldn't want to be associated with, but actually are critical to your digestive processes and have been evolving with you over eons. So they produce a lot of chemicals, and that's where we get into the balance of good chemicals and bad chemicals, which drives a lot of systems in your body. Very important aspects.
I mentioned there the link with mental health, and we're learning more about that brain-gut connection. Where does the microbiome come into play there, Doctor?
Well, the microbiome surprisingly produces, at least the gut, produces 90% of the serotonin in your body, which is quite a substantial amount.
Huge.
It's huge. And serotonin, we know, is the mood hormone. There's a lot of research going into how that production and consumption of serotonin in your body influences the brain. But likewise, the brain influences the gut quite strongly via a nerve called the vagus nerve. And that's, people don't realize it, is one of the strongest nerves in your body.
Can you give us some examples of that kind of brain-gut connection?
Of course.
And my immediate thought was, you have a job interview and the adrenaline starts going and you're a bit nervous and you can't think of anything worse than someone saying, have a huge bowl of spaghetti bolognese. Your appetite is just gone. So we're talking about that kind of connection, anxiety almost.
Almost. And you hit it right on the head. Let me give you an example. In the 50s and 60s, the connection of the brain to the gut was so strong, and people knew about it because people, when you have that anxiety, people had stress ulcers because your brain was triggering through the vagus nerve all the acid production in your stomach, lots of it. And there was no medicines to treat those ulcers back in those days. And you know the operation they used to do? they used to actually physically open you up and cut the vagus nerve. And that was called a vagotomy, and it was the most popular operation to help treat your ulcers. That was essentially how incredibly connected your brain is to your gut. And it's continuing every day. It hasn't stopped. You will still produce these high acid levels, which is quite apparent when you talk to business people and things, and they say, "Oh, getting all this stress, this heartburn and stress ulcers." So that's the connection.
Gosh.
Now, in exam nerves, that's the other end of the bowels where you wish you have to go rush to the toilet. That's called exam nerves, and that's again your vagus nerve triggering your bowels to react, and that's essentially what exam nerves are, where it's being triggered, and ways of calming it down are part of this whole gut microbiome science.
Let's come back to what the microbiome likes and what it really doesn't like. So putting your hat on as a consultant gastroenterologist, what would you love everyone listening today to be having more of, introducing to their diet, their lifestyle, to really feed a very happy gut?
I always say to anyone coming to me for advice about gut health, there's 4 pillars of it. One is diet, which most people know very well. Oh, you've got to eat this and that, but they don't, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that diet. But there's 3 other elements which are very important to look after your gut, which may not be apparent, but once I explain it to you, then it makes more sense. The second one is the stress, reducing the stress hormones that are being triggered, and thereby reducing the stimulation on your vagus nerve. Okay. And that's how you do, where you go into yoga or meditation or breathing exercises to relax your whole system. The third is a bit of exercise. Very important, because the movement that you do and the exercise you do generates all sorts of different hormones besides endorphin, which most people recognize. There are other hormones which go and help feed your gut microbiome. The fourth, and most people ignore this, is sleep. During sleep, what happens is your brain detoxifies a lot. A lot of the things that are going around your system is detoxified. And therefore, when you don't have a good sleep, you get crankiness and all those negativity, which makes you go into bad habits and not stick with things.
Just about to say, if I've had a terrible night's sleep, my food choices the next day are pretty diabolical, because I'm looking for quick energy fixes, the white carbs, the soft drinks, the sweets. Yes.
This is your brain being fed the need to remove the crankiness, and the only way of doing it is searching for short-term relief.
So let's come back to the diet piece, because we're seeing an awful lot about, we should be having more fermented foods. We're looking at your kefirs and your kombuchas and, let's pickle everything. And I'm wondering how much truth there is in this and what the microbiome actually, really does thrive on.
There's a combination of things. Yes, fermented foods to a certain degree, depending on your health, are a very good source of probiotic, which is the healthy bacteria getting into your system in a very natural way. And I recommend to a lot of my patients, particularly with irritable bowel syndrome and also with inflammatory bowel disease, going towards really making sure that their diet consists of rich probiotic-rich foods like those you mentioned. But once you feed your gut with all this lovely bacteria, they're not going to survive if you do not feed them. Don't forget, the bacteria, which can be very probiotic-rich food, if you don't give them the right food, they start consuming part of your lining of your gut, like the mucus lining. This is a really interesting research article that came out a few months ago, which a lot of people don't realize. You feed yourself with lots of probiotics, but if you don't give them the right nutrients subsequently, and that's usually simple things like fiber, which is what they survive on, if you don't go through with that, then they're like microorganisms. Like with any organisms, if you don't get food, you start looking for other things, and then you start attacking parts of the mucus layer, which is protecting the stomach and the intestines, which is not what you want. So if you're going through with it, you've got to make sure it's balanced with both probiotic-rich foods and all this fiber. Hydration is very important as well, part of it. So,
We're going to keep Dr. Pranab with us today, consultant gastroenterologist at Mbadla, to answer some questions that are coming in the text line. We have one asking about advice for leaky gut, about wonderful food to improve gut health, and also I'm kind of curious, if you have overindulged and upset your tummy over the holiday season, any recovery strategies that Doctor has in his toolkit. Any questions, come in on 4001. Be very happy to help. We're going to head over now and help you out with what's happening on the roads.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
With Yas Island Abu Dhabi. Stay at iconic hotels and play at record-breaking theme parks. Book now on yasisland.com.
Producer Jennifer, what do we need to know at 2:15?
Got a patch of very slow-moving traffic right now on the 311. It's starting around IMG Worlds of Adventure on the northbound carriageway, and it's continuing right up past Falcon City of Wonders. Not sure what's causing that. I'm not seeing any accidents. If you are there, do let us know. But certainly it's looking pretty slow-moving. Otherwise, we've got extreme traffic from DXB through to Sharjah's industrial area on both directions on the 311, and it's patchy in the same area on the Sheikh Zayed Road as well. Also on Sheikh Zayed Road, southbound from the Creek to around the turnoff for Dubai Mall is looking very busy, and northbound it's looking busy from just before Maidan Street right the way through to around Zabil 1, so very busy around that downtown area on Sheikh Zayed Road. And then we've got very slow moving traffic as well on the Al Khail just after you've joined it from the 311 northbound, so basically in between Jumeirah Village Circle and heading towards the Hessa Street turnoff. Anything else I've missed, please let us know. 4001 on the text.
Thank you, Jen.
Dubai Eye 103.8 traffic.
We're going to be giving you your last chance to win those 4 tickets to see The Wizard of Oz aboard the QE2 family-friendly panto. But I can tell you, Olga, Ivana, Sabine, Hina, Saba and more all in the draw. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll be playing you that clip just after 2:30.
More of Afternoons with Helen Farmer is coming up next.
On the UAE's #1 talk radio station.